Hey there, welcome to Port Klang, Malaysia's largest and busiest seaport. It sits right along the Straits of Malacca, one of the world's busiest and most important shipping lanes. That location alone puts Port Klang in the middle of global trade routes, connecting Asia to the Middle East, Europe, and beyond. Today, we are going to look at how this seaport rose to power and what makes it tick. Why businesses and investors around the world are starting to take a closer look. Port Klang, it's not just the country's busiest seaport. It's one of Malaysia's biggest economic powerhouses. It's been officially ranked the 10th busiest seaport in the world as of 2024. That's a massive deal. And what gives it such an edge? The location. Port Klang sits right along the Straits of Malacca, which is one of the world's most critical maritime routes, a true crossroads for global trade. Stick with me for the next few minutes as we explore how Port Klang became a logistic giant, what's around it, and why it's quickly becoming a gold mine for industrial growth and investment. Now, let's rewind. Port Klang began life in the late 18th century as Port Swettenham, set up by the British to move tin and rubber from inland Malaya to the world. The British picked this location for a reason. Its calm and sheltered waters, the natural deep water harbour depth, and its access to the interior rail link to Kuala Lumpur. But most importantly, its strategic location. It lies in the middle of Straits of Malacca. Even back then, the straits were bustling. Today, they carry around 1/3 of the world's maritime trade, making it one of the busiest shipping lanes on Earth. In 1972, the port was renamed from Port Swettenham to Port Klang. And over time, it grew into one of the top 15 busiest container ports globally consistently. Port Klang today is made up of 3 main terminals: North Port, West Port, and South Point Terminal. North Port is mainly handling all sorts of cargo, from containers to bulk and breakbulk. West Port is a huge container terminal. It is located on a separate island called Pulau Indah. West Port is a modern, highly efficient container hub, and it is still expanding to West Port Phase 2. South Port is the original terminal, which is now only handling regional traffic and coastal shipments. What makes this setup work so well isn't just the cranes and berths, it's the connectivity. From here, ships and vessels can reach major ports such as Singapore, Jakarta, Bangkok, or Chennai in just a few days. And because it's located almost at the midpoint of the Straits of Malacca, Port Klang is a natural stopover for vessels heading between East Asia and Europe. Ships can refuel, transfer cargo, or even consolidate shipments, all with a minimal detour. Now, let's talk about trade. Port Klang handles over 13 million containers every year. packed with everything from electronics and palm oil to auto parts and textiles. Malaysia relies heavily on international trade, and this port is where it all flows through. But it's not just serving Malaysia. Port Klang is part of a much bigger supply chain that supports Southeast Asia as a whole. Thanks to its prime location on the Straits of Malacca, the port attracts global shipping lines such as Maersk, MSC, CMA CGM, Evergreen. Ships and vessels don't have to reroute or make costly detours. Port Klang is already on the way. This means lower shipping costs, faster turnaround times, and more frequent sailings, all of which are critical for businesses that rely on just-in-time logistics. Now, what's around the port? The areas around Port Klang are buzzing with industrial activities. Take a drive through Pulau Indah, Telokong, Pandamaran, North Port Industrial Zone, and you'll see why companies are setting up their presence and factories here. Factories, cold storage, manufacturing facilities, last mile delivery hubs, it's all here. And again, location matters. You've got direct access to the port, smooth highway links to Kuala Lumpur and Shah Alam, and shipping routes that put you within 5 to 7 sailing days of over half the world's population. That's the power of being next to the Straits of Malacca. For investors, that means higher demand, better tenant profiles, and strong long-term value in logistics and industrial properties. Globally, Port Klang punches above its weight. Thanks to its location, it's a natural transshipment hub where cargo is transferred from one vessel to another, often destined for places as far as Europe or Africa. It is also part of the Belt and Road Initiative through the Maritime Silk Road, linking China to markets across Asia, Africa, and Europe, with Port Klang as a strategic node. Plus, the port is going high-tech, from digital custom clearance to automated cranes and green logistics. Port Klang is embracing the future without forgetting the fundamentals of location, reliability, and scale. Now, what's coming up next? And here's the exciting part. Port Klang isn't done growing. Westport is undergoing a massive expansion, doubling its capacity to over 28 million containers by 2040. That's huge! Then, there's this East Coast Rail Link, ECRL, which will connect Port Klang directly to Kuantan Port and the East Coast Industrial Zones. That means goods can move across Malaysia without even needing to touch congested roads. Combined with its ports on the Straits of Malacca, this turns Port Klang into a trans-peninsular trade gateway, boosting efficiency, cutting transport times, and creating massive value for exporters and investors alike. So, what's the bottom line? Port Klang isn't just Malaysia's main seaport. It's one of the top 10 busiest seaports in the world, sitting on one of the most valuable shipping lanes on the planet. It's where global trade flows, where opportunity meets infrastructure. and where the future of Southeast Asian logistics is being written. Thanks for watching. If this gave you new insights, go ahead and like, share, or subscribe. And if you are looking to explore industrial opportunities in Port Klang, land, logistic, or investment, don't hesitate to reach out. See you in the next one.